So at the end of combat, he does, puts a hurting on my Pegasus Knight. More importantly, he breaks him in combat. So on my turn, at best, I'll rally, and on his turn, he'll just charge me again. So unit of Pegasus Knights, although they were able to take out a bolt thrower, are going to die because they couldn't put enough wounds in that first time. And really the only thing I have going for me there is it took the warriors out of the rest of the combat. So there's another picture of the same thing, different angle. Yeah, so he came in here and just killed 5 Questing Knights, killed over half the unit. And the problem is because he was able to sneak through the charge arcs of my other knight units, my guys are stubborn 8 rerollable as long as I can keep that paladin alive. But they had to survive this round, my next round, his next round, and then I can bring some support in there. So kind of an uphill battle facing the Questing Knights. There's another look at it. So Brett turn 3. I decide that the Knights Errant are going to be enough to handle the Blackguard. He's stubborn, so other combat res I get in there isn't going to do me much good. I'm worried about him getting down to where most of my knights can't really get any attacks in anyway, and I don't want his warriors to be able to come into the flank of my Knights of the Realm because they've been held up in combat for too long. So I thought, let's just turn them around and help them come over here and take out the Corsairs. So the men-at-arms just back up. There we go, close-up picture. The Knights Errant, really all they can do is just reform and hope to get into the flank on my next turn. General, of course, is stupid, so he didn't move out of the woods. The Pegasus Knight, I just moved out. I didn't want to march out or charge out or anything because he's sitting on 1 wound, and I don't need him, losing that last wound. And I think the reason he's on 1 wound is when I beat in combat, I think they failed his dangerous terrain test. I mean, it was just kind of silly. All right, so Trebuchet really weakens this warrior unit. In combat, it did not go well. So I lost 5 last round of combat, and I lost 3 this round. So better than last round, but I'm hanging on to 1 guy. If he can stay alive, my prophetess can regrow them. The problem is, this time around, she tried to regrow that unit, but she didn't cast her very first spell, and so magic phase ended. She didn't regrow the unit, and that was not the plan. The plan was to regrow them so they could stick around for a while. And with my paladin on 1 wound, that's getting kind of scary. So go to Dark Elf turn 4. So his Corsairs make it into combat here. I know he's going to do a lot of wounds on me, but my thinking is surely there's no way he can take me down by enough ranks to get rid of my Steadfast. So the only thing I really need to worry about is, can I pass a stubborn 6 roll? Over here he does charge my Pegasus Knight like I knew he would, and over here his sorceress just moves around a little bit. So she casts the spell. That little marker means that unit is -1 strength, -1 toughness, and then she casts a spell that's dependent on their strength or toughness, whatever it is, and I lose a few guys. In casting it, though, she miscast and takes a wound, which was nice. These guys they finally take out that last Pegasus Knight, and instead of pursuing, they just turn around. And this got dicey. I started off with 35 guys. I think I had lost 1 because of the woods earlier, so I'm down to 21. So he killed a bunch of them. And we had the same number of ranks until my guys got to fight back, and I did exactly the number of wounds I needed to do so that I remained steadfast. And then I did pass my stubborn 6, so that was fortunate, I felt. Over here, just clinging on for dear life. He killed off the last of my Questing Knights. He wasn't able to kill off my Paladin, so that was certainly very nice, because otherwise he could have reformed and now I'd have been in trouble. And so we go to Brett turn 4. I was out of range to charge my Knights of the Realm in, so they just move forward so that next turn I have some options on whom to charge. I charge in 9 strong on the Knights Errant over here, and this is the far right side of the board, and I'm kind of facing from the side. I'm just taking my Pegasus Knight over to try to get a charge next time on his Sorceress. For the second turn in a row, leadership 9 general is stupid in the woods, so that's more than a little frustrating. He's stumbling forward D3 each time, so effectively out of combat, but I can't complain. He killed a Hydra, killed a Cauldron of Blood. During the magic phase, heal up 3 of those Knights Errant, and in the process of doing that, heal up a wound on my Paladin. So very happy with how that went. And during shooting, I was able to kill those warriors. This is the far left side of the board near my peasants. Killed them to an elf, I guess. And over here, amazingly, my guys passed their leadership roll. Whereas on the last round of combat, his Corsairs rolled insanely well in killing all my peasants. This time, he totally failed, and it allowed me to stick around. And now, it's not going to affect things too much. My guys need to stick around one more round, and I really don't see them doing it. I don't see how they possibly could. So at the end of combat, you can see he killed only 1 Knight Errant. They killed a bunch of his guys, and it's going to be tough to get rid of that Blackguard unit. So Dark Elf turn 5. His Sorceress moves up to trying to avoid a charge by my Pegasus Knight. His Warriors are moving up, but really there's not a whole lot they're going to do by the end of the game. And over here we're still locked in combat. These crossbows, he's just trying to shoot at my general, he's either not able to hit me or I'm able to make my save, so it's kind of frustrating for that unit. This time he's actually did 1 wound on my general. And yet again, his magic kills 2 more of my Knights Errant, so I'm down to 9 instead of, I guess I was at 11. And in combat, not much is happening there. He puts a wound back on my Paladin, so my guy's just clinging on. Over here, Men-at-Arms finally break. They run off the board. He had to pursue, so his guys are actually off the board, but that's where they're going to come back on. So we go to Brett, turn 5. So we're in the middle, not a whole lot's going on. General finally just moved out of the woods. I just moved so that he would have to move first before shooting at me again. Here I move up. I want to get my Sorcerer, my Prophetess out of the way of his Warriors so that he doesn't charge me. Pegasus Knight moves up so he can... I think he declared a charge on the Sorceress and failed it. I think that's why he's there. And I move my Knights of the Realm up, so on his turn, he's going to come back on the board, and on turn 6, Brett, I'm going to be able to charge him. Now, it looks like my guys my Knights Errant killed a bunch of Blackguard. That's actually not true. My Sorceress, my Prophetess, she's buffed, and she puts the Lore of Life spell on my own unit, so that at the end of the magic phase, he has to take D6 strength 4 hits, I think. It might be 2D6, whatever it is. It's that magic spell that's killing off the Blackguard, much more so than my guys in combat. So he's clinging on for dear life. His master, who's the general / BSB, is still there, and he's got his standard bearer from the unit, and that's it. So Dark Elf turn 6. We go. He comes on the board with his Corsairs. He moves his Sorceress down low. He's trying to avoid being charged by my Pegasus Knight, and he's certainly very far away, but I am still technically in range. So another look at that. I think that marker on my Paladin was -1 strength, -1 toughness. Brett turn 6. Take the charge in. Really not sure how it's going to go. He has 20 attacks coming at me. Oh, more than that. Those are 6 wide. So he has 18 plus 6, 24 attacks coming at me. And over here, not only did I make the charge with my Pegasus Knight, I also charged in with my Prophetess. And the reason I did that because his has 1 wound. Mine has 3 wounds. Mine's not going to get killed. So made that charge in there. At the end of, well, let's talk about that later. So at the end of this combat, you can see he only killed 1 guy. He had 24 attacks, strength 3, and he killed 1 guy. I killed a bunch of his, broke him, ran him off the board. Corsairs are out of it. The Prophetess and the Pegasus Knight make short work of his Sorceress, so she's dead. Was not able to kill the Master. He's got 3 up armor save and the reverse ward save. I won combat, but he wasn't. He had rerollable, and whatever it was, he was able to pass it. So there we go. That's the end of the game. He's got his general / whatever that guy is. He's still alive. One unit of warriors is still alive. His crossbows are still alive. Everything else is dead. I've lost a few things, but certainly have most of my stuff still on the board. So anyway, it was a fun game. Hope you enjoyed it.